Okay, a few things have changed since the last time we spoke. Firstly, my hair. I chopped most of it off. I kind of did like a big chop, I guess. But yeah, the last time you saw me, I was like starting my lock journey. And the way that I was starting it, I just didn't like how it looked. I didn't like the twists. So instead, I opted to do braids at the root and then just let the curls go at the end. And I know a lot of people say like locking with braids takes longer because the pattern takes longer. I don't know. I have all the time in the world, so like I'm not too pressed if it takes longer, but I just like how it looks with like my curls out. And if I did that with twists, it just wouldn't hold, I didn't think. I don't know, even when my locks grow out, you might see me just keep chopping it off. But yeah, it's really short. This is how short it is. But I've honestly never been happier with it. I think it makes my curls like pop at the ends. That's my hair update. Second update is my book update. When I talked to you last, I was reading Sarah J. Maas's, no, when I talked to you last, I had just finished Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Now I finished Crown of Midnight. I finished this 2 nights ago. 5 stars. 5 stars again. Like, it's just a really great series. Like, I can see why Sarah J. Maas is such a popular, well-known fantasy writer. The world building, the connections, the relationships, the romances, even the friendships. Friendships didn't really do it for me. But like everything else, I vibed with. I vibed with like the dark era of Selena. Like I vibe with the morally gray, anti-hero type main character. 5 stars. Highly suggest. And now I'm currently, of course, on Heir of Fire, which is the 3rd one. But when I talked to you last, I had the whole dilemma about like the covers because I was trying to buy the new books, but then they're doing this whole thing where they're switching the covers. So me and being irresponsible with my money, I bought the, what is this called? The case set. So basically I just bought the whole set, which means now I have duplicates of Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight and Assassin's Blade. But at least now I know I have all the books and they're all gonna be in the old covers that I like. Because the new ones just aren't, like this, these covers give like high fantasy. They give magic, they give fairies. The new ones don't give that. This gives. I don't know, maybe it's the YA in me, but like I just can't do plain basic covers. Like I need a good moment on my cover. So yeah. This is what I spent my money on. Don't regret it at all. I do not regret it at all. I decided it might be best to put my hair in this like semi updo. You see what I'm saying? Like short hair works on some people, long hair works on some people. I feel just like, I think I feel most confident with short hair, and like, even though it does make me like age down like 20 years. Like I look like I just came fresh out of the womb. I'm still have a placenta attached to me. Is that how it works? An umbilical cord? An umbilical cord. It is what it is. I need to leave because today we're gonna go do some writing. Yeah, we're gonna go do some writing. I'm in my reading and writing era. The two are connected. Like once I start reading, my brain just starts churning and then all of a sudden I want to write. So I've come to the decision that I'm going to start my novel, which is like you know, like I've been writing since I was probably like, since I was first given a computer and was able to type, you know what I'm saying? I've always been like writing basically fantasy stories. I don't think I've literally ever written anything other than fantasy, dystopian, or sci-fi. Like that's it. That's the only way that my brain turns. My brain only turns for magic. If there's no magic, I don't understand why my brain should be turning. I have written like hundreds probably of stories, but I've never completed any of them. I come up with the synopsis, I come up with the characters, and then once I start typing, I get to the 10th chapter, and then I'm like, nah, and then I toss it aside. Like I get to that middle period, and then I don't want to continue. I feel like, you know, I'm 20 years old now, okay? We're doing big things, and I want to actually complete a full novel, and I want to take it seriously. I want to go into this with the mindset of like, there's a possibility that I could publish this book. And I was like, when I'm saying it, it sounds like girl be so for real. But honestly, like the way that I work with things, I'm like, as long as I know logistically how to do it, I'm like, there should be no reason that I can't do it. Like that was my mindset with YouTube. I was like, logistically, if I know how to upload, if I know how to edit, if I know how to post, why wouldn't I do it? So like I figured out, you know, the logistics of being an author. So I'm like, why wouldn't I just do it? So that's what I'm going with right now. Don't know how long it's gonna take me to write this novel. I haven't even started it. I'm in the brainstorming / development process, and there's two like issues. Okay, so there's two different types of writers in this world. There's probably more, but like these are the two that I know. There's a pantser and there's a plotter. I'm a plotter to probably both my benefit and to my detriment. Pantsers are the type of writers that they could go into it with just like a really brief idea of what they want to write and then just start going. And then as they go along, then that's how they're figuring out the story. The story comes to them as they're writing it, and then, you know, they'll go back, they'll edit things and stuff like that. But basically they just start out full-blown writing. Plotters are the type of people that need to like plot out each point. They need to plot out each chapter, they need to outline, they need to know what they're getting into before they go into it. I am by far a plotter. I'm a Virgo. I could never be a pantser. I'm a Virgo. Okay, I can't do that. But I think sometimes it's to my detriment because I spend so much time plotting like every little detail and like trying to figure out every little detail and like world building and like making everything so specific and then going way too in depth with my characters to the point where like I'm way too attached. And then when it comes time to write the actual words on the page, I'm burnt out. And I'm like, don't really want to do this anymore. I don't want to get to that point. I want to take this seriously and I want to actually do this. I want to get out of the house to do some writing because A, I've been writing in the house for the past like 3 days and I think my eyes are gonna burn off. And B, I feel like one of the major things that helps with my writing is like experiencing life and looking at other people. So like being in the real world will be helpful, especially because like I'm currently developing my characters and it'll be really helpful to be around actual other human beings while I'm developing people that I want to feel like real human beings. I'm excited though, like whenever I have this like inspiration to write, I'm always excited about it. It takes over my entire life. I have not watched Outer Banks. Outer Banks came out, I haven't watched that. I'm behind on my episodes of The Last of Us. The second part of You is about to come out. I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. The new Shadow and Bone, the new season's about to come out. Bridgerton, I don't know how they expect me to juggle all these things while I'm trying to write because my brain can only do so much. And read. There's too much going on, guys. There's too many forms of media to consume. I'm not gonna tell you guys anything about the novel because A, it's not even fleshed out yet. Like I still am highly confused about what the plot is supposed to be. Like I have my overall theme that I want. Like I start my stories when I have like characters that I want to interact with, which normally means that I start my stories with the romance of it all. Which I'm like, girl, should you just be a romance writer? Like, why are you considering yourself a YA fantasy writer when like you really only like writing slow burn romances? Let me live. The vibe for it is, which is all I could give you, is that it's gonna be fantasy and hopefully it'll be YA. I'm finding it a little bit hard to like figure out the difference between like YA and adult. I don't want it to be adult because I think there's something so beautiful about YA fantasy. Like YA fantasy saves so many kids' lives. Like the freaky weird kid that you see just like sitting in the back corner with the vampire fangs in their mouth, the Dracula cape, and like drawing weird symbols in their book. Like that kid is being saved by the YA fantasy novel that they're reading right now. Because that is the only thing that understands them and understands that they only like magic and this world is boring because this world doesn't have magic. YA fantasy saved my life. Like YA fantasy gave me my personality. I would be nothing if I didn't grow up thinking that I was meant to be a werewolf vampire hybrid. Like who would I be now? You know, I want to write YA so that little people can hopefully, you know, feel seen by my stuff. Now it's just like, girl, you're going too far ahead. Nobody's even gonna read the book if you don't finish the book, so just shut the hell up. Okay, so we're gonna go. Should I not wear my hair like this? Guys, does it look bad? Does it look bad? In the mirror, it looks kind of okay. Necessities that I need. Laptop case. And then laptop. Very nice. Charger. And then, should I bring my book? I'm mostly gonna be writing, but if I wanna read on the train, or if I get like, sometimes my eyes start to burn. I probably should get blue light glasses because I'm looking at the computer too much. But if my eyes start to burn, maybe I could switch to just doing some reading. I bawled my eyes out at the end of Crown of Midnight. Like, I don't know why. Like, I haven't cried for a book in so long, but, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but like, if you've read it, an interaction between a male and a female character at the end of the book sent me over the edge. The second interaction, not the first interaction. So if you've read Crown of Midnight, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Like, bro, I was bawling my eyes out because I don't know why. I don't know why. And I don't know if I ship them or like if I don't ship them, but like I think I ship them. So like, I don't know. My journal, this has become my like writing dump journal. I normally dump everything like into like Google Docs, but sometimes when I don't have access to my computer, I'll just like, I need my Muji pens. Where are my Muji pens? I have like 5 different of the same Muji pens and only one of them works, so I always have to carry around all of them and then use all of them to see which one actually works. My Beats headphones, and then I think I need a camera charger. I definitely look like an alien a little bit. Here's another thing that I do. When I'm like creating a story, I really just get way too immersed in the world that I forget about the real world entirely. One thing that I really like to do is I like to make playlists for my writing, or for like the theme and vibe of my novel. I like to make playlists and I like to make Pinterest boards. Those are like my favorite freaking things to do. And so yeah, I need my headphones so I could like listen to my playlist while I'm doing my little. And how I find my playlist, I really just, I type in like, I like that Spotify can get like really oddly specific. If I want a vibe of like tragic hero meets the love of her life, I would literally type that into Spotify and for some reason somebody's written a playlist about it. Or like a playlist with songs that like fit that energy. So yeah, I'm a Spotify type of gal. You know what I'm saying? Some people are Apple Music, some people are YouTube Music. Spotify does it for me. Spotify does it for me. I originally went into this writing session wanting to work on character development. For some reason, I opened up my Pinterest board and I was just like, nah. And I decided to change the entire genre, plot, theme, central story of my novel. I ended up just working on rewriting my entire backstory, like scrapping the backstory that I had written 3 days ago completely. I decided that the only thing that I wanted to save from the old backstory was the magic system, because I really liked this like system that I had created. I just didn't like how I was like fleshing it out into the story. With fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian fiction writing, I feel like that comes with a lot more research than anything else, because you know, you're creating a completely new world order. I guess I could give you guys this, like my story with the original backstory went from like YA urban fantasy, so that means there's magic basically in our current real world and it's in a city, and it went from that to kind of being like this YA dystopian fantasy. For dystopias, you kind of like have to, I think, do a lot of research on like current government or like wars, climate change, like basically anything that humans do to fuck up the world. I feel like I needed to like go in depth with to kind of see where I could play off of that and add it with magic. How would climate change and magic go hand in hand, and kind of go off that vibe? That's not my story, okay, so don't like, but that's kind of the vibe that I go into when researching for like a fantasy story, because I want to base my magic in some semblance of reality. That's a personal preference though. Like a lot of people can, you know, just be like, hey, I just want these people to be able to fly just because they can fly, and like that's completely fine. People will read stories like that, but I think I really enjoy having a hard magic system, is what it's called. That means that I spend a lot of time on Pinterest, because Pinterest helps to jog my ideas. Just like seeing it in picture form, I'm like, oh wait, like that's how this could look, or that's how like this government makes sense, or like, you know, Pinterest is my best friend. Pinterest and my Spotify playlists, because honestly, like music really helps me like set the scene in my head. That's what I was working on, and it took me 4 hours, but I pretty much completed the bones of my new backstory, and I'm quite obsessed with it. Like, I feel more passionate about it than I did my other one. I feel like it has a lot more potential, and it's a lot stronger, and it could go a lot farther, which is exactly what I wanted. So now I can actually get into character development the next time I have a writing session. If you are interested in like specifically fantasy, dystopian, or sci-fi storytelling, I highly suggest you look up Brandon Sanderson on YouTube. He is a famous, popular fantasy, high fantasy author, and he has these college lectures. Literally, like the college course is called like YA fantasy writing, and all of them are free and on YouTube, and I watched them religiously, and it taught me basically everything that I need to know that like I couldn't have gotten from a creative writing degree, but I got from watching this YouTube video. So highly suggest, if you guys want some like advice on how to really like tell a good fantasy story, look up Brandon Sanderson's YouTube lectures. My eyes have officially started to burn, so I figured it's time to leave and take a break. I decided not to go like directly home, but it's a little bit too cold to just be like sitting outside and wandering around. And the cafe that I wanted to go to that has like outdoor seating is temporarily closed. I don't know how long I was in that cafe. It felt like hours on hours, and then my head started to hurt, but I did like that cafe, and I think I will return to that cafe. I feel like I might go home and finish up the character development, or at least like do a little bit of the character development that I was trying to do, but at the same time, oh, thank you, Chuck. No, but at the same time, I kind of want to go home and like watch some movies that kind of have the same energy as the new theme that I've kind of thought up. It's like so loud. It's so loud. Still consider this like a productive writing day though, because I feel like I kind of like the direction that the story is going. I just don't want to be the indecisive type of person that like keeps switching the theme, and I also don't want to be the type of person that like is combining way too many things into one story.